When your horse does something that looks like normal daily behavior, do you actually know what they're trying to say? Yes, it might look completely fine, but behind that calm exterior, there's something deeper that most people miss. It's one of the most emotionally loaded things your horse can do. And if you misunderstand it, which most owners do, you could be causing pain to the animal you do anything to protect. Let's start with the one most people get completely wrong. One when greeting them actually feels like an attack. Most people think walking straight up to your horse and reaching for their face is a natural, loving greeting. It's how you show affection and start your time together. But here's what's actually happening. Horses are prey animals with blind spots directly in front of their face. When you approach head-on and reach for their muzzle or forehead without warning, their nervous system interprets it as a predator strike pattern. Their freeze response looks like calm acceptance, but internally they're flooded with cortisol. What you think is a sweet hello is actually triggering their survival instinct multiple times a day. Equine behavioral researchers at the University of Guelph found that frontal approaches activate the same neural pathways as predator evasion, even in domesticated horses with trusted handlers. Think about that for a second. Your horse isn't being loved in that moment. They're being startled awake to danger, over and over, by the person they trust most. And they're choosing to stay anyway. And by the way, if your horse ever starts turning their head away during greetings or taking a step back, don't brush it off. We'll get to what that really means later. And it's something most owners wish they'd understood sooner. 2. Their happy face when you saddle up is actually a cry for help. So why does your horse stand so still and quiet while you tack up? Most people assume it means they're calm and ready to ride. A cooperative horse is a happy horse, right? But here's the thing. Horses exhibit something called learned helplessness. When they've signaled discomfort so many times without response, they stop signaling entirely. That still, quiet stance, that's not peace. That's shutdown. They've learned that pinned ears, tail swishing and weight shifting got ignored, so now they just endure. The absence of protest isn't consent, it's resignation. Animal behaviour studies at the University of Bristol documented that horses in chronic discomfort develop behavioural suppression, appearing calmer while stress hormone levels actually increase. What makes this even more devastating is why they stop trying. Your horse stopped fighting because they trust you'll eventually stop anyway. They're not happy. They've just given up trying to tell you it hurts. And hey, if any of this is changing how you see your horse, hit that like button and subscribe. It's the best way to help us reach more horse people who actually care about understanding their horse on a deeper level. 3. You're punishing them for honesty. Here's what most people don't realise. When your horse tosses their head, pins their ears or sidesteps during grooming or riding, you probably think they're being difficult or moody, that they need correction to learn better behaviour. But those behaviours are honest communication about pain, ill-fitting tack, a sore spot, or even developing ulcers. When you respond with discipline instead of investigation, you teach them that telling the truth about discomfort gets them punished, so they learn to hide pain until it becomes catastrophic. You're not training out bad behaviour, you're training out their warning system. Veterinary researchers at the University of California found that horses with gastric ulcers are frequently misdiagnosed as behavioural problems because pain signals are suppressed through negative reinforcement. They tried to tell you where it hurt, and you told them to be quiet. Now they suffer in silence because speaking up meant trouble. This is where most owners get it wrong. They think they're teaching respect, but they're actually teaching fear of being heard. 4. The trail ride that's actually solitary confinement. Ever take your horse out for a solo ride and feel like you're having this beautiful bonding moment? Just you two, peaceful and connected, away from distractions. Here's what's actually happening. Horses are herd animals with a neurological need for the presence of other horses. Riding alone, especially for extended periods, triggers isolation anxiety that floods their system with stress hormones. They can't relax. They're scanning for threats constantly because in the wild, a horse without a herd is about to die. That spookiness on solo trail rides, that's not bad training. That's genuine fear. Equine ethologist at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences documented that horses ridden in isolation show elevated heart rates and stress markers even when the environment is otherwise calm. You thought you were spending quality time together, but they felt abandoned and terrified. They stayed with you anyway, even though every instinct told them to run. 5. When treats are actually emotional torture. So why does your horse get so excited when you reach into your pocket? Most people think hand-feeding treats is a sweet bonding moment. Your horse loves it, and it strengthens your connection through positive reinforcement. But here's where it gets complicated. Inconsistent treat giving creates something called intermittent reinforcement anxiety. Your horse never knows when food is coming, so they're in a constant state of hopeful vigilance, nudging, searching, anticipating. What looks like excited affection is actually low-grade stress. They're not bonding with you. They're trying to solve the puzzle of when you'll deliver the reward. And when you randomly stop, they feel confused and frustrated, not loved. Behavioural psychologists at the University of Edinburgh found that unpredictable reward patterns in horses create higher baseline anxiety than no treats at all. Think about that. You thought you were giving love, but you accidentally made them anxious, always wondering, always hoping, never secure in what's coming next. 6. Your voice is too loud for them to hear love. Have you ever noticed yourself getting more animated when you're grooming your horse or tacking up? Talking to them in an excited, high-pitched voice to show enthusiasm and affection? Here's what most people don't realise. Horses communicate primarily through body language and hear vocal tone as threat assessment. Loud, high-pitched or rapid speech patterns signal predator excitement or distress calls. Your loving baby talk voice? To them, it sounds like alarm. They can't process the words, only the pitch and volume. And both tell them something is wrong. When you're most verbally affectionate, they're most on edge. Acoustic studies at the University of Veterinary Medicine Vienna found that horses' heart rates increase in response to high-pitched human vocalizations, correlating with stress rather than positive engagement. So the next time you tell your horse how much you love them in that excited voice, remember this. Every time you said those words, they heard danger instead. They stayed close, not because they understood, but despite being afraid. When your horse stands quietly in their stall or pasture while you're away, you probably think they're contentedly resting and waiting for you to return. But here's the truth that most owners never realize. Horses are incredibly time-aware and pattern-dependent. When routines break, you come late, skip a day or change schedules without transition. They experience something close to grief. That quiet standing isn't peaceful rest. It's defeat. They stopped watching the gate because hope became painful. When you finally arrive, that explosion of energy isn't just excitement. It's relief that you didn't disappear forever. Research at the Animal Welfare Institute documented that horses exhibit depressive behaviours and reduced activity levels when primary caretakers break established routines, mirroring separation anxiety patterns. They didn't know if you were coming back. Every time you were late, they had to relearn that you still existed. Your inconsistency felt like abandonment. Here's the truth that's hard to hear. Your horse has been trying to tell you all along. They've been speaking in a language you didn't know you needed to learn. And every time you missed it, every greeting, every ride, every routine, they forgave you anyway. They stayed. They trusted you'd figure it out eventually. You're not a bad owner for not knowing. But now you do know, and that means everything changes from here. Because the horse standing in front of you has been waiting for you to finally hear them. And now you can.